going, Mo?
Hey, how's it
Cam-
going, Mike?
it's going good, except camera 2 just went down. So we're trying
Oh
to
no.
trying to
Technical
reset it up.
difficulties?
I think we're good. But we're good on camera
Okay.
1. So how we
We are
doing?
good. We are blessed and highly favored over here. How are you, Michael?
Amen to that, sister. We are so blessed. We are so favored.
Yes.
God just be
Yes. Yes. Give it up. One
like
one clap for God. Yeah.
all the praise, all the blessings on y'all. Y'all are just doing so well.
Yes.
I don't know why I
It's
just made
beautiful.
God have an accent there, but
A little southern accent too. I feel like that's natural. People think that
well,
Jesus and God are from the South.
yeah, they do love Jesus down here in the South.
They
My camera
do.
keeps falling. This is
Oh
not good.
my
Oh,
goodness.
wait, I
Not
think I figured it out. We're good.
don't
We're
touch
good.
anything.
We're good.
Anyway, all right, so we're back, y'all, with another episode. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to our voices and
Yes.
seeing our faces if you're watching on YouTube.
Yes. Please watch on YouTube because I feel like the YouTube definitely just gives a little more extra razzle dazzle because I'm a hand talker. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
y'all just want to see me use my hands and stuff like that. So
Well,
go
also
ahead.
your outfit looks cute as
That's what
heck,
I'm
girl.
saying. Like, I'm really giving y'all a lot of effort, and I really need y'all to
Mhm,
log in to the YouTube
mhm.
channel and peep it, okay? Because I just need the love right now.
Yes. And you can find that at the Mike and Mo Show on YouTube, or check us out on Instagram or TikTok, where we post some cool, fun little videos and little other life motivating tidbits
Mm-hmm.
at mike.mo.show. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your podcast by searching
Yep.
Mike and Mo Show. So please do
Yes.
all those things. Hit the like button, subscribe,
Yes.
follow,
Yes.
send us some DMs,
Yeah.
all of the things.
Dang. That's great. So speaking about all that stuff though, do you remember a time when like we didn't have all that stuff? Like YouTube. Remember when YouTube wasn't a thing? Like that's
Yeah. Like,
crazy. Instagram.
I mean, how
I
did
mean,
kids do it before social media? Because I mean, I remember YouTube from like a very young age.
really?
But
I don't
yeah,
maybe I
YouTube was
did
around like even
through
when we were like in middle school, I think.
well, yeah, for sure, but I don't remember YouTube when I was, like, in elementary school, though, but it might have just been because I was,
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean, like, young, but I feel like nowadays, like, my nephew, he be on YouTube watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
they know YouTube from the very beginning pretty much, like, it's so funny,
Right.
he knows how to, like, swipe, like, he be like, "Nope, don't wanna watch that, nope," like, he be using his little finger, and I'm like his finger's, like, this big. He's literally not even 2 yet, he'll be 2 next month, and I'm just like, "You are so smart,"
Wow.
but you know what I mean?
It
Like, that's
It's crazy
crazy.
how integrated, kids are with technology, which is like we can
Yeah.
talk about that, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
have, my younger cousin, Ryan, he's how old is he? 16 now? I think he's 16. Man, he's growing up fast, but I'm pretty sure he's 16, so he's, like, over 10 years younger than I am, and, he, like, had an iPad, when he was a young kid and
Yeah.
knows technology obviously really, really well, so they just got integrated
Yeah.
to it a lot earlier than we did, and it's interesting at how quickly they pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
They mean
crazy. Like, I feel like we're at that age we kinda caught the good end where we know about VCRs, DVDs, and, like, stuff like that. We know about MySpace. I don't did you have a MySpace?
I never did, yeah.
I had one, but, like, again, only because I had an older sister. So that's the thing too, like, having an
Mhm.
older sister, older cousins, you kinda, like, get exposed to that stuff too.
That's what
But
Michelle was saying too, yeah, because she's, like, the youngest sibling, so, like, for me, I was the oldest, so, yeah,
yeah,
I never really, like, got any of,
knew
like, the
about that. Yeah.
90s culture integrated into me. I kinda had to, like, find my own stuff since I
Yeah.
didn't really have older cousins or siblings around me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, anywho, if you haven't picked up by now, what is our topic gonna be today, Mo?
It's just social media. The girl's the hot topic. Everybody's talking about it. So,
Just a
yeah.
casual thing, nobody ever
The
really thinks about it.
casual.
Social media, it's
Yeah.
not like it
You just do it.
integrated our entire culture and basically runs our life, nothing like
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I forgot though. Before we talk about our topic today, social media, I have to issue a formal apology.
Boy,
We talked
what?
about this. Well, my lovely co-host here, Mo, is a darling of a human being, and
I
it
don't
was
deserve
brought to
it.
my attention last week that I was a little grouchy.
You weren't
And
grouchy. It was just like, it's giving tension. What's wrong, Michael? Is everything okay? But like you said, you was, baby girl was in the other room listening, and that's kind, you were a little nervous. It's
no
okay.
excuses, no excuses
It's
though.
okay.
I could make a million excuses. I was very sleep deprived. I had no
Oh
food in
yeah,
my system. I was just all
yeah,
hyped up on caffeine.
yeah.
We had an audience. My lady was there and I was nervous, but no excuses. I'm sorry for seeming grouchy and disconnected and short with you. And
Disconnected.
I like to give you shit. We banter
We
back and forth.
do. We
We have
do.
good chat, but sometimes we take it too far.
No, it's
And I
okay.
feel like it was taken too far. And so I would like to apologize. You're a great co-host.
We
And
should
I
have like a
never
little
wanna.
noise, a sound effect.
Oh, we should. Yeah.
Aw.
Do we have anything like that? I don't think we
I don't know.
do.
We just have applause.
Yeah,
Give
we have
yourself a hand clap
applause.
for being such an adult and calling yourself out. Good for you, because not
Thanks.
everybody in our big
Yeah.
age, not everybody says that. And especially with friendships and stuff, I feel like people are just like, "Oh, like, I was just playing." And they just like, I'm like, "Okay, but that was very nice of
But
you."
were you just playing?
Also, no, for real. Also, you can always be mean to me every once in a while because y'all, Mike gave me this candle. Can you read it? It says badass homeowner, adulting and shit. And it is so cute. And it also smells delicious. So, if I get gifts because you be acting like, you got a little attitude every once in a while, that's fine. It's
No, the
worth
gift
it.
wasn't even because of the attitude. The gift was because
Oh.
you hosted me in your home and allowed
Oh.
me to sleep under your roof, and you fed
Oh.
me and bathed me, and you didn't bathe me, but I bathed in your
And I
house,
was like,
you
wait,
did all
I was like, I was
you
never
did
even
all the
home with.
things.
Thank you.
You
I'm
did
just
all the
doing
things.
what
You
a
were a
friend
great
would
host.
do. Thanks. And thanks
Cheers.
for writing that on my
Cheers.
Airbnb review too.
Oh, yeah. We no, we shouldn't put that out there. I was just a random guest.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. But back to today's topic. Let's get
Okay.
serious, guys. Social
Bring it in.
media.
Tighten up.
Right.
Social media. So, yeah, like we kinda started talking about already,
Mhm.
um, what was, like, your first exposure to social media? You said you did have a MySpace, and you obviously have an older sister, so
Yeah.
what is, like, the earliest age you can start remembering social media having an impact on your life?
Okay, so yes, I had the MySpace and it was like hard to maneuver. Like I was definitely like in elementary school, maybe 6th grade, but I was probably like in 4th grade, I would say. And so like I didn't really know what to do with it, what was going on, and like most 4th graders back then didn't really have a MySpace. I did have a phone. I got my first phone in 5th grade, but obviously like
Mm.
it was the flip phone, so we didn't have like social media on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that didn't come till way later.
yeah, like even if you did have internet on it, first of all, my daddy was not paying for that. But, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't just go on Facebook on my phone. But I remember going on it online, like on the computer, the big
Mhm.
family computer, none of your own personal laptop at the time. Like you have to go on the family computer, which was in my parents' room.
Yep.
And I remember like making posts and stuff like that. Remember we would like edit the picture and like you'd write on it, put like hearts and stuff. You like put a really thick filter on it, like sepia or whatever.
It's so funny that you say that, not to keep bringing up Michelle, but
He's
we were
in
talking about
love.
that.
If you wanna talk about your baby girl all this episode, we can. Go
Aw,
ahead.
thanks,
Tell
Mo,
tell your
appreciate you.
truth. Tell your truth.
But we were talking about that last weekend and how, she was, like, showing me a bunch of photos of, like, her youth with her cousins and everything, and, like, how
Yeah.
same thing, you do all the filters, you put all,
Right?
like, the cute little, like, sayings
Little
on it and stuff,
thing,
and it was just
yeah.
like, looking back on it now, it's like, "Oh my god, that's so cringy."
It's very cringy. You're like, y'all was doing the most, like
Yeah, right.
Let me see if I can,
Crazy.
maybe I'll post something on our story this week of one of my throwbacks.
Oh, like our most cringy old
Yeah.
social media posts? Ooh, just go in the depths of
Yeah.
Facebook.
'Cause remember we used to be like, you would, like, get the camera and you be in the corner of the camera, like, with the duck lips. Maybe the
The
guys didn't do
duck
this, but, like, the
lips.
girl like
I feel like I definitely have some duck lips photos in the archive.
What a time. Like, you ever look back at your Facebook posts, like, and it was typed all weird, you was using too many symbols and stuff, you was just
Yep.
talking
Emojis
nonsense.
and ha ha ha
Right.
ha 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 ha.
Mhm. Right. LOL, like, all caps and stuff like that, like,
Talking about how
I'll
you
find
hated school
right, or talking about your man. Yeah.
or how
We're
hard
gonna have
life is
to
and how
yeah, I know,
you're
right?
gonna make it through.
Yeah. Right. So that was my, you
Initial
know
exposure.
right. But what about you?
Yeah, so, I never had a MySpace, like I said. What was the other popular one? Not MySpace. Wasn't there another one like not RuneScape. No, that was a game, wasn't it?
I don't know. I
You know what
remember
I'm talking about though?
I remember Club Penguin, but that wasn't really social media.
Club Penguin, yeah. Oh my god, did you ever do Webkins?
No. I feel like
No?
we were like in 6th grade, bro. Like, we were way too
Yeah,
old. It's
well,
okay if you
I
had
think it
one?
was like 5th grade. Yeah, it was definitely not 6th grade yet because I hadn't moved to Ohio yet, and that's, like, when
Really?
I
I
was
feel like
in
we were
6th grade.
too
It was,
old.
like, 4th and 5th grade, but you're right, it was
No.
probably still too old, but me and my sister got in, like, this weird phase where we loved Webkins, and we had a whole bunch of them and, like, went on yeah.
Aw.
So, anyways, there was, like, a
Wow.
bunch of those things, right, where it was, like, games that you could also interact with people on the
Right.
games,
Yeah.
and that was kinda like a pseudo social media, but not really, obviously.
Yeah, it was
And
more
then
like social media for
MySpace
kids.
yeah, yeah. MySpace I never had, and then my parents were very strict, as I've said multiple times, and so I was never allowed to have any of the other stuff. I probably didn't have Facebook until I'd have to go back and look at my timeline, but I think it
Really?
was probably like high school, ninth
Wow, that's
grade,
kinda late, I would feel like.
8th grade. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's kinda
wait. I
late.
remember posting some pictures of football, so maybe it was like 7th, 8th grade, but it was probably a
Okay.
little later than most people. I mean, I was always one of
Yeah.
the later kids to get things, like, I never got a cell phone until 8th grade.
Okay.
I got an iPhone, I think, like, in my sophomore, junior of high school, but
Okay.
I was
Yeah, I
always
was
just a
late to the
little
iPhone
bit
game.
were you?
Yeah. I had that phone that was like
Ah,
he's like
nice.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. I feel like the iPhone game I was probably on time with, because yeah, some people I know, they be
Yeah.
having flip phones all the way up through college and stuff, and at that point, I'm like, "What are you
Ooh.
doing, kid?"
Yeah, like, the latest phone that I had that wasn't an iPhone was a like that.
Yeah,
But it was a
yeah.
good time, man. Like, I'm just like my typing skills, even with the actual flip phone where you had to press it 3 times to get to, like, the other letters, like,
Mhm,
once you got going, you was killing it, man.
mhm. Oh my god, yeah.
Like, these
People
kids
with because
nowadays don't know nothing about that.
what was the flip one that was, like, really popular? Or not the flip one, but the slide one you're talking about?
Oh, you talking about the BlackBerry?
No, not the BlackBerry. It was just like a
'Cause I
normal
wanted
phone, but it was
that.
like a
The,
lot of people had it. It was like a Verizon phone.
oh, the Sidekick?
That
But the
sound rings a
Sidekick
bell.
and the BlackBerry, I don't think were, like, Verizon type because I remember I wanted them and I couldn't get them.
What did you have?
Um, I don't even remember what it's called. I had the chocolate. It was like this pinkish,
Oh,
dark maroon
yeah.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it
Who
was
was
hot
your
shit. It was
phone
like
company?
touchscreen. I have Verizon. We still got
Yeah, Verizon.
Verizon.
Okay.
Yeah. Who'd
I
you
was an
have?
AT&Ter. Still am.
Okay.
AT&T for life.
Going strong. Imma be Verizon until my daddy kicked me off the phone bill. But
Yeah, right.
anyway, so how do you feel about social media now? Like, I mean, you still have it. You started, we started at a young age, kind of, sorta. Like,
Mhm.
it's crazy how it's changed. So, do you still use it for the same reason, or do you use it at all? Really? I mean, obviously, you kind of use it with the podcast
Mhm.
page, but like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's, definitely evolved a lot, right? I mean, the different companies and then just the way people use the different platforms as well. Because I think for us, probably Facebook was the biggest one initially,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
that's when I Facebook, I really remembering actually having an impact on my life in high school when people started doing Facebook events, like parties and stuff. They would, like, send out a Facebook
Oh,
invite, you know what I mean? Like, that was the first time I
that's
remember caring
classy.
about social media.
Yeah.
So, Facebook started it out, then you start getting into college and, like well, I guess Twitter too in high school, but I never had a Twitter. I literally have not I have gone my entire life without a Twitter until we started the Mike and Mo Twitter.
Really?
So, I always avoided that. So, I feel like
Yeah.
Twitter always was known, but it was never actually super
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Like I had a Twitter and I wouldn't really tweet much. And then I remember I still had it and then like towards the end of high school there was some like drama with me and these girls. They didn't like me cuz I was like going to speak at graduation and they just felt like I shouldn't be speaking and I'm like, I'm Mo. I be running shit.
Yeah. Come on now. What are we
And I
doing?
remember like and I guess they were like they were tweeting about me or like they were like talking like
Mm,
subtweeting, is that what it's called? Like when you
yep.
talking shit?
Subtweet, yeah.
But I didn't know, like, until, like, my friend was like, "Oh, I think people are like, they're talking about you," and I was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Let me log into my Twitter and see." Like, I don't even know I don't even know, and I couldn't even log in because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I don't really remember my password." But that's just the type of person I was, like, I'm not big into social media that much to where, like, I'm using it for drama and stuff like that and I
Mhm.
don't really care that much. Like, you know what I mean? I don't do it for like the followers and the likes necessarily because you can get caught up in that. Like, it's easy to get consumed with all that stuff. But yeah, Twitter was never really like popping for me, I guess, because it's just
Yeah.
words. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a
Oh my
visual
god,
learner. I need to see.
one of the funniest speaking of people getting caught up in social media and stuff, one of the funniest things that happened, when I was in high school, I remember one of the so we had, like, a group of people in my high school, right? We all hung together, ran together, we were
Okay,
like
your
the crew.
friends.
Friends, yeah, sure,
Okay,
acquaintances,
oh,
you
why
know
don't
what I
you
mean?
just
There's,
call them
like
friends? Okay.
well, you have, like, your friends, but then you also just have, like, the group of people that are, like, the group of people that always get invited to parties and stuff, you
Oh,
know what I mean?
okay.
And you're, like, kinda
The
friends with
popular
some, but you're,
crew.
like, I don't know, I don't wanna use that word, but
Okay.
sure. The football player type people, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
But, so, some people are frenemies, some people are friends, whatever. So one of the guys, though, in this group I hope he's not gonna listen because he's definitely know who I'm talking about, but his father was a
Okay.
lawyer. And this dude, this guy was very obnoxious, like the kid who was in school with us, very obnoxious, and he was, like, in with the crowd, but he was, like, kinda hated by everybody sort of, but not really also. I don't know, it was weird.
Mm.
But him and then there was this other guy in our squad. For some reason, I think they, like, got into some kind of beef on Facebook, but then this obnoxious dude's dad, who was a lawyer, commented on it and literally started going in on our other buddy, who's, like, a
On a child?
17-year-old kid at this point, on a child. This man is a grown ass man and a
On
lawyer,
Facebook.
starts, like, getting into it with this child, and they start going back and forth for, like, a whole bunch of different a whole thread of comments to
Yeah.
each other, and I remember everybody was just like, "Is this real life? Like,
I was like,
what is going on?"
"Yikes, what's happening?"
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So, that's the kinda shit that you saw on social media in the early honestly, you still see it, but I think at least people are
Yeah.
a little bit more self-aware now, at least I hope they are, but in the initial days, that's
Mm.
definitely where you started seeing, like, "Ooh, this could maybe not be a good thing."
Yeah, no, I've seen that recently, like, when I was at school, I have a friend whose mom I love her because she's feisty, she's very spicy, but she don't play about her son, and, yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, 'cause they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But
Yep.
yeah, his mama don't play. His mama will hop onto Facebook real quick and call somebody
And,
out
like,
and
defend her son on Facebook?
yeah, and granted,
Ooh.
usually when people it's weird because he's my friend. He be playing sometimes, you know what I mean? But the things that people try to say are unnecessary, uncalled for and stuff. And like it'll be adults, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, trying to talk shit. And his mama will come in and swoop down like, boom, don't talk about my baby. And I'm like, go ahead, girl, handle it. But it's crazy because like people really do argue on social media and like I don't know, like, I hate even texting, I don't like you know what I mean? Like, I don't like doing that. If we have an issue, like, Imma need to get on the phone or talk to you face to face, because like, some again, like, it's so
Yeah,
hard with social media, like, you can always take things the wrong way, you
true.
really don't know what people
Yeah.
mean unless you're, like, really talking in person. So,
Mhm.
social media has caused some riffraff, I would
Mhm.
say, but it
For
can be a
sure.
good thing too.
Sure. Yeah, and that's kind of what it's evolved into, right? There's clearly a value that social media brings to our culture and our society. Otherwise, it wouldn't have lasted as long as it has, right?
Right,
So it
yeah.
started out with all these fun things that you could post and like show how great your life was, and people start arguing and bitching, and then everyone was like, "Oh my god, this might be bad for us." But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, here we are, 10, 15 years later, and these things are all super prevalent, and like there's no denying now the impact that they have, right? Like
Yeah.
if you are any kind of public figure or if you want to run a business, there are very, very few niche industries and places in the world where you can do that without having a social media presence anymore. And
Mhm.
honestly, like, even if you don't and you're still successful, you probably could be more successful by utilizing social media.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's an
Like,
incredibly powerful tool.
even, like, things like LinkedIn, I don't really consider that, like, social media, but it really is pretty much, like, it's more on
Hmm.
the professional side, you know what I mean? But just like you
Yeah.
said, like, if you're not, you know, if you have a business or something like that, you're not even on LinkedIn, like, then that kinda sucks because more people won't be exposed to you or, like, your business and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So, yeah, it's like you might wanna just hop on the bandwagon. But it just depends
Yeah.
on how you use it, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to make it a personal thing, you can just focus on your business and stuff like that. But it really is a great
Right.
way to, like, get stuff out, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, it really has like it's evolved from just a bunch of amateurs posting about their personal lives to it's a full-on profession now. Like
Oh, yeah.
to be good at social media and to utilize it effectively, like people are their companies literally hire a TikTok media manager or an
Yeah.
Instagram media manager. Like each
Yeah.
platform even is obviously nuanced in its own kind of way. And to create good content that is actually seen and digested by people, that's a full-time job. Like it is
Oh, yeah.
we're trying to do it casually just for this show, and I think we do a pretty
Right.
damn good job. But
Hey.
we obviously don't have that many followers. We don't have that many eyeballs on
Right.
our stuff, right? It's not like we
Right.
have like thousands or millions of views like some of these, people out there in the world that are all influencers
Yeah.
influencing and shit. So it's become a whole profession, I guess you could say. It really
Yeah.
has. Like
Like,
so
influencer, boom, that's I'm an
mhm,
influencer, that can be your job, or a content creator, that is your job, like,
yeah.
it
Right.
takes so
No, and
much
it's
time too and effort, like, so I'm not even
yeah.
talking down on that, like, it does, like, making all these
Mhm.
videos and recording and stuff like that, even what we do, like you just said, like, I mean, it's we do this for fun and stuff, but it does take some effort and some time, and we have put some money into it, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, I can only imagine, like, the people that post every day, like, constantly, like, you know what
Yep.
I mean, thinking of content, stuff like that, like, it's a lot, but it's crazy, like, again, did you think that this content creators and, like, influencers would have been an actual job 15 years ago, you know?
Even 5 years ago. I mean, like,
Yeah.
think about just a couple years ago, how much negative connotation being an Instagram influencer had, and how, like and even still to this day, I mean, obviously, we are, I think, young enough and in tuned enough with society to realize, like, social media is here to stay. This is a thing, and
Right,
this is a
yeah.
real thing that has value. But, I mean, you talk to our parents, right, or our grandparents even, and, like, that is just a
Oh, yeah,
completely
no.
irrelevant realm to them a lot of the times. Not everyone, I'm
Yeah.
generalizing, obviously, but,
Right.
yeah, it's there's still people who haven't fully embraced it, which is fine, like,
Yeah.
and they're probably doing fine in their life, and they don't need to embrace it, but
Yeah.
it's here to stay. It's a thing, and, people who still don't recognize that are definitely just kinda getting left in the dust.
Yeah,
But,
which is crazy.
yeah, I was
But
gonna say
it's
too, us doing what we've done, again, what we do is very low key and, like, baseline kinda
yeah.
stuff compared to
Yeah.
full-time content creators, but it has given me so much more respect for them, honestly, and, yeah, these
Oh,
people who,
yeah.
like, actually make content all the time, every day, multiple times a day, it's a lot of work. It is a
Yeah.
full-time job, and this is not it's not an easy thing to put out content every single day that
It's
people are
not.
either gonna find funny or relevant or
Or
interesting
interesting,
or
right.
knowledgeable, like, that is super
Yeah.
hard.
'Cause, I mean, you already know, like, we'll be like, "Oh, let's post a tweet," and I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know what to say. What," I
Yeah.
mean, like, "What we gonna say?" Like, you know what I mean? Or even just, like, captions and stuff, like, you would think, like, "Oh, just write a caption." No, but I'm sure they do put so much thought into it, you know what I mean? Unless they're just
Mhm.
extremely creative 24/7, but it actually does take some effort.
Oh, yeah, and even, like, the simplest things, that's the beauty, I think, of, like, good content creators can make their message so simple that it seems like it was easy to put out
Yeah.
because it looks like, "Oh, easy, relevant, easy to digest, there's no complexity to this at all," but making a message simple and relevant and funny and entertaining is so difficult. It
Yeah.
looks so easy from the outside, but it's not at all.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
so funny because the other day I was walking Coda down the street and I saw these like three kids, I guess they were siblings in like their
Mhm.
driveway, and they were doing like a TikTok dance in the drive. It was so cute because like I just remember growing up, like again, like it's weird because we're at that age where like I don't know, my cousins and I we played outside, but then we also had like a lot of the new technology and stuff that drew us like inside the house too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just cute to see kids outside. I love that. Like I
Yep.
hate when kids are always inside on their computers and stuff. I think we
Mhm.
definitely did benefit from being outside growing up. But they were doing this TikTok dance and then as I got closer to it, it was teaching me how to Dougie, but they were not Dougieing the way we
Oh,
Dougie growing
really?
up. But it was so cute 'cause I'm like, they don't even know. Like, I'm
They don't
getting
even know.
old. Like, that's not how you Dougie. Like, that's not how you do
What were they
that.
doing?
You not about to first of all make me get up and dance. I don't No. But they were just doing something. It definitely wasn't Dougie. It was just like some other dance. They were doing something.
Yeah.
It was cute, but it was just so funny because I'm like, back in my day, that was not
Back
how
when
we
I
dug
was a
it. Yeah.
boy.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm getting old."
Yeah, we're getting old. We are indeed.
But
Crazy stuff.
yeah, it was cute though, but it just shows you how much and the thing is we weren't even the Dougie was lit, like, how long ago? Like,
Oh, that was high school, right? So 10 years ago at least?
yeah, like, it was only
Teach me how to
10 years
Dougie, teach
ago.
me how
Hey.
to But, no, it gets yeah, things get irrelevant quick in this day and age. It's all
I
about
know.
the new hotness.
And I feel like that's why, like, because social media makes things, the trends go so fast, so like quicker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So
it's
we talked about the
crazy.
yeah, we've talked about the pros. What are some of the cons? Yeah. I feel like that's definitely a con, right? I think the biggest con, but it can also be a pro, right?
Yeah.
But the way it could be, I guess, all right, I'm not explaining this well. It has lowered our attention span, which
Oh yeah.
can be a pro in some ways, but I think it's more of a con for the long term. But
Yeah.
there's no denying now, like our patience, especially for millennials and are they Gen Z or Gen X behind us?
I think it's Gen
They're
Z.
Gen
Wait,
Z, yeah.
what
Gen
are
X
we?
is
Are we
before us.
millennials? Who's
We're
after us?
millennials, so we're technically Generation Y, right? So like Gen X is
Who?
before us, then what?
We're Gen
We are
Y.
millennials.
Oh,
No,
who's
but
Gen
like
Y?
it goes by letters, right? So it's like Gen X is before us. We would be Gen Y, but they call us millennials because we bridged the
The
millennial gap
right.
in the 2000s, right? So you got Gen X before us, millennials, and then Gen Z is the next generation after us.
Okay.
I think the date range too is like
Oh,
1998, I think is the end of millennials.
yeah, that sounds about
So we're
right.
like right on the tail end of millennials.
I claim being a millennial. I'm not with this new generation because
No, yeah,
I
we're
can't fuck
definitely
with it.
millennial. We're old souls too.
No, for real. I'm about to say just naturally, first of all. I really should have been born when our parents were born, but that's another story. I'm an old lady. I'll be like, listen, I gotta go to bed at 10 o'clock, and we having supper at 5. Like, yeah. But anyway, yeah. What were
So
we saying before?
it's the cons of social
Oh
media.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
like
There
the
you go.
biggest con is it has shortened our attention span and made us so incredibly impatient. Like,
Yeah.
our generation and the generation behind us, I think, struggle with patience and longevity, and even I definitely struggle with this too. Like, I always wanna be doing the next thing, and, like, it's hard
Mhm.
to build resilience, I think,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, you look at, like, anybody successful in the world, generally speaking, they've been doing what they've been doing for a long period of time. You have to do
Right.
things over, you have to get multiple reps, rep after
Yeah.
rep after rep, and you usually have to fail a lot too before you finally get that rep that ends up hitting a home
Yeah.
run,
Yeah. Like,
and
I
I
saw an
think our
article.
generation struggles with that.
Yeah, I saw an article on that. It was just saying like our generation and the one after us, like we just be quitting our jobs.
Yeah.
Like we
No,
don't,
I
you know what I
mean
mean? Like fuck a pension.
yep.
Like I'm not
No.
doing this for 20 years. I don't like it. Which again, it's there's pros and cons. Like people who grew
Yeah.
up in older generations, they used to work that regular degular, maybe blue collar job for
Mhm.
years and they just wrote it out. Which that's not always a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like again, that just
Mhm.
shows they have resilience and they if they're like they just made do with what they could and they just made sure they had security. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
again, it's not a bad thing. But at the same time, our generation is like, no, think about your mental health. If you don't like it, if this doesn't give you life, if you don't feel fulfilled, then don't do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's a good point too. You know what I mean? Like you only get one life, so why are you wasting it doing something you don't really like? But at the same time, you can't just be quitting jobs all the time. Like, come on now, think about the
Mhm.
W-2. Like, now you got to go back and figure out all your W-2s. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
So,
Well, again, it's not
yeah,
even just the necessarily quitting jobs, it's the bouncing around of things, and again, like, I'm
yeah,
as guilty of this as anybody, like, I'm still trying to figure out the
that is true.
direction, and part of it is hard too, because like, we're in the military, so obviously we have a contractual obligation to stay in this particular job, so it's like,
Yeah,
until that obligation is up, I'm always gonna be balancing, like, what I have to do versus, like, other things that I wanna do, but point
yeah,
being, I feel like that's a problem for a lot of people our age is they just aren't really sure what they want, and instead of doing
mhm,
the traditional thing of just getting
yeah,
a good job with a good company that's gonna give
yeah,
them good benefits and a
right,
pension and all that stuff, we seek better, and I think it comes from a place you ask, like, older people, they probably think we're just lazy, like,
mhm,
irresponsible kids who don't know anything about the world, right? But it
right,
it comes from a place of wanting to do better, and like you said, like, wanting
yeah,
to fulfill the maximum potential that you have and wanting to do good in the world at something in a position that you actually enjoy, which is a
right,
good thing, you know? Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know about you, but like talking to some people who are our parents' age, they have a lot of regret throughout
yeah,
life. You know what I mean? Because they always lived a life that really wasn't theirs. They did what they felt like they
yeah,
were supposed to do and what they had
yeah,
to do in order to, provide for their families or to have like
right,
the social status of being in X position in their company or something. And
mhm.
in reality, like they look back on it 30 years down the road and they're like, well, I wish I would have
That was
done this
that.
and this differently.
Yeah, but they're doing what they saw their parents do and, like, what the parents before that did, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what
Sure.
I'm saying, like, this generation is like, "I'm not doing what my mom and dad did. I'm not doing
Right.
that. I'm getting
No.
a job that I like, and if I don't like it, I'm leaving," you know? So, I would say I know we're talking about cons and stuff like that, but that's a pro and a con, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that, like, social media has helped us with, though. But the thing is with social media, I would say another con is that maybe the reason why some people just quit their job or aren't they don't want to have anything and sustain that is because they see what other people are doing on social media and they're like, oh, now I want to do this, that looks cool, like, you know what I mean, they're just trying to follow the trend, or people only put
Right.
out on social media the good stuff, like, you know what I mean, like I only
Exactly.
put out the good stuff of being a pilot. I don't put out the shitty stuff where I don't like this, it sucks, I'm studying all like, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and that's where people get confused. So when people might go on my Instagram page, they're like, "Oh, I want to be a pilot. So cool." Like, you know what I mean? She looks like she's having fun.
Yep.
Maybe I should post the bad days or like, the not so fun
Right.
stuff when I'm sitting at the desk and not flying that day. And then they might reconsider. So I feel like if you know how to use social media properly and know how to take in that information and you know what I mean, and use it um, just efficiently, I guess, then it doesn't have to be a con. You know what I mean? Like, if you
Yeah.
just take everything that you see on social media with a grain of salt, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but you gotta
It
know, you have to be
creates
aware.
Yeah, I think the word there is envy, right? It
Yeah.
creates a lot of envy, and if you're not a person who can rein in envy, and you're not super comfortable in your own skin or
Mhm.
with what you're doing, or you don't have that broader awareness that everything you see on
Yeah.
social media came with probably hours and hours of grind and sacrifice and struggle,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, that is definitely a con for sure. Because if you're yeah, if you are like quitting your job or something like that to talk to that point again, because you see somebody else who, quit they tell the story on Instagram where they quit their job and they started
Yeah.
some company and now they're making millions and they're happy and they're their own boss and all that stuff. But you don't understand like just how hard that actually is and like
Mhm.
all the
Yeah.
sacrifice and struggle that went into it. Like they
Right.
probably were stressed, you know, out the wazoo and
Yeah.
had a lot of financial hardship during that time.
Yeah.
Things like that. When you're not able to read between the lines, it can be a bad thing for sure. If all you
Yeah.
do is see the glory that is projected all over Instagram and social
Mhm.
media and TikTok and all these things, and you think that that is the only thing that you're ever going to experience, then you're going to be sorely disappointed.
So do you feel like you've ever gotten caught up in that? Like, I don't know, maybe you saw somebody that you follow, like, I don't know, just do something, you're like, "Oh, I wanna do that," or like, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever gotten caught up, whether that be, like, with the job or, like, your personal life, like, "Oh, everybody's getting engaged on Instagram. Let me go ahead and make some move," like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because again, it's easy to do that, so do you feel like you've ever been affected? Whether that was, like whether you knew it, or do you feel like it was you didn't know it was impacting you, like
Yeah, I think it's impossible not to be affected by it, right? Like you see other people doing well in life, you see people you're like crushing it at a job or traveling the world or they have a beautiful relationship with someone they seem to love a lot. It's natural human tendency to want those things, right? It's hard not
Yeah,
to. So, but again, it's okay to feel those things so long as you can pause and recognize that what you're feeling is envy and again just try and be content in your own life and like have enough self-awareness to know that if you want those things it's not going to be a straight line path, it's going to be a roller coaster ride, there's ups and downs throughout life. And yeah, how about you though, do you feel that way? I mean, do you ever get caught up in that kind of stuff too?
I would say for sure, like, I know one thing that was impacting me and I didn't really realize it was, like, certain females that I would follow on Instagram, like, I don't know whether they had surgery on their bodies or not, but I was like, "Oh, they
Mm,
look good. I wanna look like that." But again, you don't know if they
yeah,
had surgery or not. Like, sometimes people make it seem like, it was natural and it might not be. So then you're trying to attain this image because you like how she looks, and it's like, well,
yeah,
that's not really attainable. And even if like she did get it naturally, obviously she has different genes than me. So,
right.
and again, she's not showing her parents, she's showing herself.
Yeah,
So I can't even, you know what I mean? Like you don't know the background of it. And even if it was natural, you don't know what she did specifically. Like you don't know how long she's been in the gym for
right.
daily, like, you know what I mean? When she started working out, what workout she does, and like, stuff like that. So, and again, that for me, initially, I didn't even realize that was like having an impact on me. And then I was like, wait, what? Like, I
Mhm.
just, not that they were doing it to be negative though. Like, they were just trying to be more inspirational on their Instagram pages and stuff like that. But eventually, I just
Yeah,
stopped following those pages just because I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. Like, you know what I mean? Until
yeah,
I feel like I have the self awareness and the control to remind myself that I should not allow that to impact me, I'm just gonna not follow them. Because sometimes that's what you have to
yeah,
do, and it sucks 'cause, you'd like to think that, "Oh, I have enough self-control to know that, I shouldn't let this influence me," but your mind, it
we're all
can get caught
human.
up so easily. Yeah, exactly, like, so yeah. So that was, like, one way it was, like, impacting me, but
Yeah.
again, you just have to have awareness.
Well, good on you for recognizing that. I mean, obviously you're a grown woman and you're more mature than
Hey.
a lot of people our age, but that's have you seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix, that documentary?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's really good. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It came out like maybe a year ago or something like that. But
Hmm,
it basically is it's like half documentary, half like storytelling about the impact that social media has had on our society, and one of the most disturbing consequences of social media is the effect it has had on like young women, particularly young girls, like teenage girls.
Mhm.
There has been a direct correlation. Correlation doesn't equal causation, but there's been a correlation in young teenage girl suicides and the rise in prominence and growth of social media. And I think a lot of that is because um I mean, this can go into like a whole bunch of deeper topics in terms of
Yeah.
like human attraction and mating and
Mhm.
like our primal nature and things like that. But essentially, like females are judged a lot more frequently on their appearance,
Right, the
right, than
males.
males are. And so the appearance that some people put out on social media, again, to your point, is not real. It's fake and it's not attainable. Yet,
Yeah.
all of these people, all of these young girls in particular, are trying to attain that unattainable
Right.
physique or image. And when they inevitably can't attain it, it has been having a very, very bad effect, obviously.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at least it seems to be. Again, correlation doesn't equal causation, but I mean, I think there's no denying that there are some very sad consequences that have come from, yeah, that like trying to always live up to the
Mhm.
impossible image that you see out there.
Yeah. I mean, and one last thing before we wrap it up too, that just reminded me, like, even the filters and stuff, the
Yeah.
filters will get you, or like those apps where you can edit your body, like,
Oh my, I
that'll
didn't even
get
know those were a thing until like the last year or two.
yeah,
I
man.
saw a couple of, like, people I know, and, like, you see a photo of them unaltered, and then, like, the photo that they altered, and it's like, "Bruh, that's not you." Like,
Yeah,
that's, like, CGI.
we're catfishing kind of, like, you know what I mean? That's you
Yeah.
gotta be careful because, like, back in the day, the girl puts on some makeup and, yeah, she's a little cuter now, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, now she's snatching her waist,
Mhm.
making her skin
Slimming up the
clear with the
cheeks.
filter, right, we adding some
Mhm.
lashes on there, like, you know what I mean?
It's
So,
insane. Yeah.
that's what I mean, like, you sometimes you just gotta really bring it in. Remember, again, I feel like we have the benefit of growing up when we did, knowing that it doesn't have to be like that, you know what I mean? Like, but
Mhm.
now when the kids grow up, that's what they're used to. They're used to adding the filters, adding the lashes, adding the snatching the weight, like, all that stuff, so good luck to them. I
Godspeed,
don't know.
kids. So,
Yeah.
yeah, one last thing before we do wrap up. What do you think the future is gonna be of social media? Like, how do you think it's gonna impact our children? Like, role is it
Mm.
gonna have in the next 20 years?
That's a hard question. I was literally just thinking that, and I feel like I need to think about that one 'cause again, it could be good, and again, it could be good depending on how much you expose your child to it. But that's the thing,
Yeah,
like, think about if you had a child, like, growing up, you wanna expose them to it, right? Because that's what their peers are exposed to. You don't want them to be behind, but at the same
right.
time, you don't wanna hand your one-year-old child that like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't wanna
Mhm.
hand it to them because it's like, "Well, I don't want my kid to be so attached to technology so young." But it's like, well, that's the thing though, and their peers, when they grow up, they go to school, they know how to work the tablets and all that stuff because that's what they
Right.
grew up using, so
Yeah,
you
you
don't
don't want
wanna,
them to
like,
be behind, yeah.
exactly, so I really don't know, I don't have an answer for that, I'm trying to figure that out, but luckily I ain't got no kids right now, so I have plenty of time to think about
Plenty of
it.
time to worry about it, right.
Yeah, but what
Yeah,
do you
no.
think?
I think that we've kinda plateaued in our current, integration of social media into our life, but I think the next step, which I'm slightly terrified about, is alternative reality. I
I
mean,
knew
you
you were
see
gonna
what
say that,
Facebook's
like,
doing.
virtual. Mhm.
Yeah, you see what Facebook's doing with the metaverse, like,
Yeah.
that shit's coming, you know what I
That's some
mean? Like,
Black
sooner.
Mirror crap.
Yep. People like kids, I think like our kids, right? Like 10, 15 years from now when we have little kiddos growing up, I think their social media and their like technology thing is going to be to pop on those, pop on those virtual reality glasses
Yeah.
and go like alter their selves however they want to alter themselves in that virtual reality and go hang out with their friends in that virtual reality and do some crazy stuff. And
Yeah.
that's going to be bananas.
Well, I guess good luck
Well,
to future us.
Godspeed.
Right, right. If we're doing a
Uh,
podcast, 10, 15 years from now, we'll review this and see how it's going.
we'll check back in with the girls.
Yeah, by then we'll probably be able to like do the podcast and like like in Star Wars where like the person would be like there, like when they send a
Oh, like
message.
beam it
I don't
in?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By then we'll be able to do that. So
That'd be hype.
look out for that in the podcast, guys.
Stay tuned in
Com-
10 years.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, this was
Any,
good. This was good.
yeah, that was a good topic. Any last minute things? Any Mo's mini stories?
Nah, I don't got nothing.
All right.
Nah, I don't want to share anything. Anything with you? Like any football updates? Like,
The Indians slash Guardians of Cleveland are playing the Yankees tonight to go to the ALCS. Let's go,
what is
Guards.
that?
Fuck the
ALCS.
Yankees. The American League Conference Series. So basically, tonight, if the Indians win, they advance and they beat the Yankees because fuck the Yankees, and we're going to the next round of the playoffs. So let's go. I'm wearing my Indians hat, but yes, I know that's offensive. They're the Guardians. I'm aware. I'm not a bigot, but they're still the Indians in my heart. Go Guards. Go
Okay.
Indians. Fuck the Yankees.
All right. On that note, he got real passionate. Well, thank you for
Yo,
that, Michael. We
sidebar though on
appreciate
that.
you.
One last thing.
What do you want?
Michelle was wearing a
Here
Yankees
she
hat
go again. Here he go
earlier
again.
this week. Oh
Yeah.
man, it was tough.
Wait, why was she wearing an Indians hat? Did you give it to her?
No, she was wearing a Yankees hat.
Oh,
She already
Yankees hat. That's
they
hot.
had this.
That's my girl.
I'm gonna buy both y'all new hats, and they're not gonna be Yankees hats.
But the Yankee hats are
Anyway,
just like, listen, I'm the type of chick that would rock a Yankees hat just because it's for the aesthetic. It's not like
that's what she said. That's exactly what she said.
That's my girl. Shout
She's
out
like,
to
babe, it's for the
Michelle.
aesthetic. I'm like,
Yeah, it's not like
not when we're playing the
we don't even
Yankees
watch
though.
baseball. But we don't even watch baseball like that. It's just for the look.
But
Like
it's
everybody can rock a
okay,
Yankees
but
hat.
you understand, right? Like if you're wearing a Yankees hat and I'm a Guardians fan and we like out and about in public and I'm like, yo, this is my girl, and she's rocking a Yankees hat, like that's like disrespect. That's like a spit in my team's face.
Well, y'all can work
Like I
that
can understand
out.
off season you can wear it. Other times of the year you can wear it, but like when we're playing them in the playoffs, like playoffs, come on.
He said, "No, you're gonna snatch it off her head." Well,
anyways, all right, I'm done
all
getting
right.
heated.
Well, thanks y'all for listening. We
Thank
appreciate y'all
you.
coming back. Give us some feedback on our social media, please. Again, subscribe, DM us, like it, do all the things. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
See y'all next time. Much love.
Bye.